Hi. Hello. Hello.
I'm doing our theme music.
She's
Hello,
doing our
everybody.
music. Hi. Yeah, she was doing our theme music.
That's
She was,
right.
Hello, everybody.
Good night. Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Staying warm?
Right. It's freezing today. I hope you all did stay warm. And we had a snowstorm since the last time you guys tuned in. So I hope you're safe.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Get Down and Dirty Talking Art with Calibra the Artist.
And Debbie LaPrette, the artist. Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Yes. We're streaming live currently on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment so that we can see your comments.
That's right.
We can respond.
That's right. Yes, please comment and share.
That's right. Tonight we have a very special guest for you, and you'll be in for a treat if you like selling art. If you're an artist, I hope you like selling art.
Yeah. No, they just like to make art. They don't want to sell art,
We have expert here to lend his expertise, Mr. Bryce Tubbs.
Yay,
Bryce the artist.
Welcome. Woo! Artist and
master salesman
and marketing. That's what I was trying to get out, but it wasn't coming. So Thank you for coming on. We're so excited. And Bryce is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, just so you all know. Yeah.
All right. Well, Bryce the artist, could you introduce yourself for our viewers? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, I am Bryce Tubbs. So I do metal sculptures. Right now, they're in between about 5 feet to about 7 feet tall. So they are so much fun to be making. They are extremely heavy, so I do really enjoy kind of like getting a good workout, lift them in and out that trailer in between shows and in between moving them from my front yard to my garage to my backyard. And one thing I've been doing for the last about 2 years is really helping and mentoring other artists to be able to go and grow their sales as well, doing the same principles I use to grow my business to 6-figure level.
6-figure level.
Wow. Do you all hear that, you artists who are out there? Listen, because we got some really good information here to share.
So 6 figures, Jesus. So what were you doing before you were an artist?
Yeah. So I get asked this question a lot, right? Because people are like, how are you able to sell this much money? And it was really because my background is more in accounting and finance.
Okay.
So it was one of those things that my lifestyle was already, used to making 6 figures. So I didn't really have any other choice, or else I would go into panic modes because my income was going down. Okay. So I got started. My background was in accounting and finance, and I was not only working there, but I had started my own accounting firm. Okay. And that was really, really tough for me at first because just like most people, I couldn't sell. I was afraid to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And I would just be so intimidated every single time that I would have to talk to someone, ask them for, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000, $20,000. And I'm kind of grateful that I went through that in the beginning because now selling art feels so much easier because it's just, people just want it so much more. Does that kind of answer your question about what I was doing before?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So what was the transition into art? How did you transition into art?
Yeah. So even though I love accounting and bookkeeping, sometimes it can get really, really kind of like you're logical, you're focused, and we have like these really peak seasons. Like we're about to enter a peak season in the accounting space now. And I was just feeling really, really burned out. It was just, I felt underappreciated, undervalued. And it was just, every single day I was just so annoyed. And I was just like irritated, come home cursing, ranting. And I was just like,
I'm done.
Why don't I just do something for, it wasn't even that. I was just like, I hate this. So my relatives, they were starting and like doing, it was like welding. So he had just gotten like his HVAC from a local community college. So he was doing welding and he loved like arts and crafts and hobbies. So to practice, he was just like, oh, here's a metal plate. Here's a spoon. Here's like a train track thing we found. And he would like put them together, weld them, and like make like dragonflies, butterflies, and just little things like this. Actually, I have one here. Excuse me, standing up.
This is cool.
We get to see one of his guitar collection.
I know.
But like this is one of our first pieces, right?
And it's that is so cool. I love it.
Yeah. And
saw like big, huge sculptures. Yeah. That's really very intricate.
Yeah. And it was it was kind of like, it was so much fun because it was just different. It was new. It was exciting. You got to do stuff with your hands, so you weren't like staring at the computer all day. And I just really kind of enjoyed it, surprisingly, because like if you had asked me probably 7 years ago, I would have been like, I don't like art. I just want to make money. You know what I mean? Like I'm not an artist, right? At heart, I'm just more of a person who likes to be able to do new tasks, and I like to be able to learn new skills.
You're a creative.
Yeah, especially not like welding. Like I would never have thought that, I like to get dusty and have like all these sparks flying at me and feel like you're get scared because you're about to get on fire. And that was really the transition. So then we were like, okay, so now we have an excess amount of pieces inside of our garage. And then we're like, let's have maybe a garage sale. So we like put them out in the front yard. People would come by. We try to sell them for like $35 a piece because I don't know what to sell them at.
Now, how big are the pieces?
Were they the little ones?
No. Some of them were like butterflies. Some of them were like flowers. So we just take like just like a bar and just kind of bend it. And then we like attach like some just hollowed out metal to like make like the flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was so much work. And then people were like scoffing. They're like, you can't get that at a garage sale. And it was like, oh, so maybe we can't make any money with this art. But then we had kind of remember, because like we used to go to like the Ann Arbor Art Fair, like just walking through and just kind of seeing it. And like at the time it was just something cool. But then it was like, well, maybe there's other places we can like sell this stuff at. So we went, and the first one we did was Ipsy at Frog Island. It was like a little craft show. And like we had like a booth, and then we were like trying to sell the pieces, and like the first show did okay. We did one in Brighton, and that went really well as well. We sold like $2,100 in that show, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of cool. Maybe there's something here, but at the same time, it's like you got to sell so many pieces, and it's just like,
what were the price points for that one? For the first show,
it was not even that much higher. It was like $75 for the pieces.
Yeah.
I know, to sell $2,000 worth of $75 pieces. It's cool, but it's like we can't just pump out all these pieces. That had taken us a whole like 6 months to build up that much inventory.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like $2,000.
Yeah.
6 months worth of work.
And again, it's like, if we couldn't make money, then I would have to go back to working full time and then kind of like doing my business. And I was like, well, I kind of want to be able to control my income a little bit more. I mean, the accounting firm is amazing, and yeah, I'm doing good, but I don't want to just have to kind of rely on that, especially when I get burned out so easily, because I get irritated. Like I was telling you before the show, some days, like when talking to people and just all this like stimulation and listening, I get really like flustered and just like frazzled. So
I think
the next thing that happened there,
right?
No, I just quick little tidbit. I think it's very important that you're sharing that, because there are a lot of artists that come from other fields. Even if they've been doing art all their lives, a lot of times they do something else to make ends meet.
Supplement their income.
They get into art as a form of release. And there are a lot of people that don't really understand that you can make money or don't even consider it. It's just a way to release.
Yeah. They don't think they're valuable, and they don't think their work is that valuable.
So we want to hear how that turned into you. Get it serious about it.
Right.
Because it was hard, right? Because like on the one hand, in order to make good money selling art, you kind of have to not only be like this creative side, but you also have to like think numbers and business, right? Because I mean, like, especially if you're selling in shows, like there's certain amounts of costs you have to know going into it, and know like, are you going to lose money? Are you going to make money? How much do you have to bring?
Can you just explain to our viewers a craft show or a show where people would sell art? Could you explain to artists and non-artists what that is?
So there's sometimes these events and like different guilds, which are like associations by people who are artists, and maybe they want to kind of like gather artists and gather the community together for people to either buy stuff, sell stuff, have some music, have like festivals, have really cool things going on. And there are certain shows like for like jewelry artists. Jewelry means that you have like really, really nice pieces. You're considered like fine art, versus crafts are more of like, just the kind of cooler trinket things that, I don't know how to describe it. The nicest, like,
You're doing good.
they're fun, but they're not necessarily something that would be like in a gallery and sell for like $1 million.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So some people really love craft shows, so I'm not trying to like make fun of anyone's art. So
No, we mainly just want to put it out there for artists because not everyone considers where to go.
Right.
You were saying you were making art, and then it went into all right, and then I was in the show selling. We want to make sure that
Yeah. Well, because everything for me happens where it's like I'll be going, and then like a person kind of tells me something new.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we were selling in the garage sale, and then we were kind of telling people that, oh, we got this much money at this garage sale. Then one of our neighbors was like, she had bought this piece for $35. She's like, you ever go and put these things in a show? I'm like, what's a show? And then we looked it up. We like had to call. We had like probably like 2 weeks before the show started. So it was, before this or after the submission deadline. But I don't know. Maybe we're just good at talking our way in. But they let us in. No experience, no name, just got in. Right. So back to kind of the story. So we were inside of the show, and we were selling those kind of pieces. They were like tabletops, right? So they're about 2 feet, 3 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
They're about 20 pounds each. They're different colors. They're like just kind of cool shapes, but they weren't really selling.
Mm-hmm.
It would be kind of like we would love the way it looks. People would say, "Oh, this is amazing. It was so nice." And we'd be selling them for like $150, $250, right? But they just weren't selling. We would only be selling either the $75 things, or we would have just a bunch of inventory just kind of left there. People like, "Oh, it's so nice. How much for that?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like talking to one of the promoters, and the promoter is like the person who's like organizing the event.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, this stuff would be a lot cooler if like you did bigger stuff. And we were like, bigger how? He goes, I don't know, just bigger. And I was like, I'm one of those guys. I hear one thing and we're off, right? But the thing there was, it was very, very kind of risky and scary. Especially for our pieces to get that much metal. Oftentimes it costs between $1,000 to about $4,000 that we're putting down for like these sheets of stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's a moderately big investment when you're selling pieces for like 75 and your higher ticket pieces. Huh?
Your audio was cutting in and out.
I'm sorry. What I was saying was the pieces of the stainless steel can be anywhere from about $1,000 to $4,000, which is kind of scary when you're having trouble selling for $150, $200.
Yep.
All based on one guy just telling you to go bigger with nothing more than just 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of, the one thing, like for those watching, like if you take nothing else from my story, it's like feel the fear and then do it anyway.
That's right.
That. Hold that thought. We just want to remind our viewers that you're watching Get Down and Dirty Talking Art with Calibri the artist and Debbie LaPratt. We're here today with Mr. Bryce Tubbs, Bryce the artist. He's talking about how he went from accounting into full-time artist and
He's
actually
metal
offering
sculpture.
Metal sculpture, and now offering workshops for selling art. So he's really mastered his craft and makes 6 figures.
You hear that?
Selling art, okay?
You guys can all do that.
And
Tune in, watch. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We can see you.
All right.
Put them in the chat. All right. So we were talking about your next step was going bigger, which now we know you do 5 feet to 7 foot sculptures. And how does that turn out?
Yeah, so it was one of those things where our prices still weren't super high. So like we put them up for about between $2,000 to $2,500
Okay.
at that first show that we came. So we had like the winter to kind of like prepare and mentally steel ourselves and like just kind of get everything going and get courage, right? So we had them. We didn't put any prices on them when we were at the show because like I was kind of scared that if we put out 3,000, 2,000, 2,500, people would be like, nope. So like we had it, and the first guy is like, hey, he had this just gaudy looking Rolex on. It was so nice. It was so expensive. And then he goes, times are hard, man. And I was like, oh, I understand, man. I understand. Like, I didn't have any confidence in like the price point at all. So I was like, well, what can you do? And he's like, let me take $1,000 off. And I was like,
What?
I was like, okay. Which,
Whoa.
looking back now, like if you know how to kind of negotiate, you can get around that.
Mhm.
But that was the one time where I kind of learned that it's like money isn't really a thing when you're trying to sell higher ticket art. Because when we actually drove the piece to the guy's house, because at that time I was driving all the pieces to the house after the show if they bought it.
Mhm.
This man, guess how many tennis courts this guy had? Yeah.
He knew he got a deal.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
I should have went higher. So what do you mean
Yeah.
when you say money is not a thing? 'Cause I
Yeah.
really want to get
That's-
into the
that's-
number one. It takes a lot of balls to go up and then to scale up, but understand that people have the money to pay what your price is. So what does it take for you to be confident in pricing your work and standing by that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would take that my answer would be in two parts, right? So the first thing is the easiest way to kind of raise your price is to raise your price higher than what you think you're going to get, and then get your first no. Like, you got to get your first rejection.
Okay.
Because then what you find out is like, oh, I didn't die. The person didn't cuss me out. Maybe it's okay for me to do this.
Mhm.
And then when you make a sale, you just incrementally raise your price and raise your price and raise your price. Assuming that you have like pieces that are similar. Like if you have a piece and it's just totally different from the next piece, you probably wouldn't just keep incrementally pricing it. But for someone like myself, we have our sculptures don't necessarily change. It's just like we remake it every time we sell it, and it's like made to order, and then we raise the prices again little by little. But to answer the second question, which is probably the bigger question, it's really about money, right? So a lot of artists, especially when they're in either my Facebook group or if they're just messaging me on Facebook or even emailing me, right? They have a lot of struggles around the concept of money. So they think money is really hard to come by, which it is if you don't have like the skills to sell and the ability to go and like get money really quickly. But then they tend to place their view on money, and in some cases their lack thereof of money, onto the person that they are speaking to.
The
And
person
then they
with
assume,
tennis courts.
yeah, like you project it. You're projecting, like me with the guy with the watch, right? I was projecting that I didn't have a huge amount of money. I didn't believe that he had any money. I wasn't looking at the cues that were sitting there with his like awesome Hugo Boss shirt, his Rolex, his nice shoes, his dialect, right?
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
right,
I
it's
can
like,
relate.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. But I think the way that I learned this, right, is because like when I'm doing my accounting business, and then we have the mentorship for accountants and for artists, right? So accountants come to me because they're like, how did you grow your business that fast? And there was one guy in particular, and this guy, man, he would just breathe money. Every person he spoke to would be giving him contracts for like $8,000 a month, 15 grand a month, 6 grand a month, right? And everything was just so effortless and easy to him. I actually charged him $20,000 to be inside of my mentorship program. And he's like, cool, man. How do you do it? Like, how do I credit card? Do we have to do a bank wire? Like, what do we have to do to get me in the door? And it was just such an easy sale. And then when he was going and selling, everything was easy sales for him. And then it was just like, wow, man, people have so much money. And if they find what you're doing valuable, and if it resonates with them and it connects with them, they're willing to just spend just exuberant amounts of money. And it's really like, can you get out of your own way, your own beliefs, and just ask.
So how do you determine the value of your work?
Yeah. A lot of artists struggle with that. I'll tell you that right now. They do.
And I will say this as well, as somebody that curates art and has an eye for art.
Right.
Not every piece is worth $20,000.
Right.
So, even a person may have it, but how do you determine what your value is?
Yeah.
That's always the hardest question, right? Because like back in the day, I'd always do like based on the size of the painting, mix a little bit of intrinsic value. But then I had a student named Oliver, and he was actually like living on the streets probably about 6 years ago, right? And he was painting because he was like in a really, really low place. And he had been able to like just sell a couple pieces in order to like find some like living provision. So he actually like gave this person like a painting, and the person would actually let him like stay in his one of the units in his apartment building, because he was just so touched by the guy's story and the fact that he gave him a gift. And that guy, when he like started really finding his stride in the art, one day he made a painting and he was like, I don't want to ever like sell this thing. So then he said, the only way I would sell this thing is if I got like $24,000. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason. It was just, it is hard. He was like, I'm keeping this thing forever. Like, I love this piece. And then what he had to do was he went on Facebook, and we'll talk about marketing in a couple minutes, but using one of our Facebook group strategies, he connected with this woman. And they were talking. They did like a 15-minute call on Facebook. And then the last thing he asked was like, hey, do you like art? And she goes, yeah, I like art. I collect art. And he's like, oh, do you maybe want to schedule another call? Maybe we can do like 45 minutes. I can just kind of like do a Zoom call and just share my space and just show you some of my pieces. And he's going through and he's showing her the pieces. All of a sudden he passes by this painting. He wasn't trying to sell it, so he kept moving. She goes, wait, what was that?
As I go back up that truck.
He goes, that's not for sale. And she goes, well, but I really like it. And he goes like, okay. And she goes, well, how much? And he goes, $24,000. And she said, oh, that's a lot of money. She hangs up the phone, calls him back a week later and goes, hey, I couldn't get that painting off my mind. Can you ship it to me? He goes, yeah. Is $24,000 okay? She goes, yeah. And she paid it. That was a long story just to show like sometimes it's not necessarily just about like the rules and what people say that it should be worth. Sometimes it's about like what's in your heart and what are the things you can say. Now that's not for everybody. Just like she was talking, sometimes you have to go a little bit more logical. For example, if you're at an art show, you should probably like look at what are the price points around you. Then you should look at like who is actually at the show. Are you at like a craft show where everyone's looking for $10, $20, $100 trinkets? Or are you at a fine art show where people are walking around with $4,000 worth of cash to drop for your stuff? That's going to dictate the price as well. The next thing is, does the person you're speaking to actually resonate with the piece?
I think that's actually one of the main points.
It is.
Because even like you mentioned with the 24,000, how he just said that he loved,
Right.
Of course, there are certain rules, but it really, what I find is when you like it, when you love something, because usually as an artist, we're the most critical of our work.
Yes.
So usually when it's something that you like, I like this one.
Yeah.
There's something there. And it's picked up by the viewer, the energy, the whatever, even if it doesn't follow any of the rules. Right. So when you say this is 100,000, I don't care what, that's the price. Yeah. That is the price.
Yeah.
Which even goes back to the money thing, right? We're talking about money is not a thing. Everything like people don't understand this, right? Because like I've done so many years of like dancing, martial arts, just this. It's like feeling, right? You can feel energy. You can feel like for example, when someone says no to you, you can feel was it a really hard no? Was it a soft no? Was it a maybe kind of no? Was it they're just saying no to kind of get you to try and lower your price? Was it more of like they're just being coy? Like there's all these different feelings that people are giving off to each other. And if you're scared of your own price and they feel you're scared, they're not going to know why, but they're just like
that energy. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Times are hard.
Yeah.
You take 1,000
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
That's
Now, you mentioned a bit about marketing. And I really would, if you wouldn't mind telling us, because you have your Facebook groups and workshops and stuff like that. Can you just tell us how quickly your Facebook group grew in a matter of days with your marketing?
Yeah, so I started the Facebook group on December like 20th. And then we have like 1,400 people in it now. It's January 26th, 2022. So yeah, I think I was telling you guys that I want to get that group to like 34 to 50,000 members in a year, and there was kind of like the silence, like, oh, do they think I'm just kind of like just this random person? And I like to anybody else like who would say that, I'd be like, that's some BS. Shut up, you're just talking. But then I mean, I have another group that has like 19,000 people in on Facebook, right? So that's more of knowing exactly how to structure your search engine optimization on Facebook for people who are searching for either the topic of your group, the name of your group, or the just the amount of content that's in your group. So, for example, one mistake people make when they're trying to grow a Facebook group is the title of that Facebook group.
Okay.
So, for example, the name of my group is How to Sell More Art. Right. So anytime that someone searches that on Google, on Facebook, even on YouTube, in some cases, a link to the group pops up.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Very strategic.
Yeah. It is a little harder with art because like part of the way that Facebook promotes your group and even how it promotes your content in general is the more engagement, the more like likes, comments, shares that something gets on Facebook, the higher up it's pushed, right? So if you're trying to grow a Facebook group and you don't have good SEO, you don't have very good engagement, you're competing with these giant art groups where people just come in and post their artists like stuff, and they're getting like some of these groups have 10,000 posts per month. Yes. So it's really hard to kind of rank for the art niche to grow a Facebook group. I don't know if that was relevant for your audience, but just in case
it is. I mean, obviously people want to be able to promote their work, and they have their pages.
Right?
That's very relevant.
Do they call it the algorithms? Is that what that is called? The algorithms?
Yeah, that's
on Facebook. Yeah.
Like Facebook is tough, especially if you're an artist. Like I was just telling you guys before the show, like a lot of artists when they're trying to like market their work, they will go into like Facebook groups and they just start posting their stuff, right? But most of them make the mistake of going into groups that are like made for artists. Like if the group says like I am an artist or artists live here,
yeah,
right, and you're just posting your thing, like I don't even like going inside of my Facebook group right now because it's like so many art and all. No matter how great it is, like a lot of these people are so talented. It's like your brain kind of gets overwhelmed by the amount of just like awesomeness that's coming at you, right? So if you're trying to sell
artists,
yes,
he's telling you what I have told you. Stop posting 1,000 art pictures inside artist groups.
Yeah.
We're all artists. We all see it. Nobody, not that artists aren't buying art, but that's not who you're selling to.
Right. You're
Post it on the golf pages.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so powerful, right? Like I was talking to this one gentleman the other day. Sometimes inside of the Facebook group, I'll actually go. I'll do like an audit of someone's art. So if someone's like, "Hey, how do I sell this kind of art?" Right? And if I get I don't know, sometimes I just feel really good or I feel like, giving back, then I'll like do like a 15-minute or 20-minute kind of like screen share with the person. Okay, so this is what I would do, this is what I do, this is what I would do. So the person had like some horses and they were these just really nice looking horses. I'm like, okay, so where are you thinking about posting these horses? And he goes, I don't know. I was like, Well, first thing I would go and look like who likes horses.
Ah.
Right. So there's probably groups on Facebook for like horse lovers, horse enthusiasts, people who like watching horse races, right? And let's go inside those groups. Okay, cool. So are there any paintings about horses in there? No. Oh, so if maybe you post your painting of a horse, do you think you might get more attention than all the other competitors inside those art groups that are posting a similar thing? He's like, oh yeah.
And true.
Now Facebook groups are a little bit harder if you're doing abstract, right? Because like, what are you going to type into Facebook? Like, who likes abstract? You know, it'll just take you to another group that's for artists who are doing abstract, right? Because that's a term that not a lot of people outside of the art community actually know what it means, right? Does that fully answer the question about marketing? I know I might be going a little too far ahead, but rein me in.
It's great. That's going great. Well, we're going to take a fast break here.
We just want to remind our viewers that you're watching Get Down and Dirty Talking Art on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, of course.
Yes. So we got to get back to our talk. We've got a lot to share.
Yes. You already know us, Calibri, Debbie.
That's right.
We're here having a riveting conversation with Bryce Tubbs, Bryce the artist. We're talking marketing. We just started talking about basically how he's getting over around the Facebook algorithms. And do
you want to share your Facebook page? Do you think we should just let the people know?
Yeah.
What is your Facebook page?
Don't post artwork on there.
Yeah, you don't post.
I mean, you can. It'll boost my stuff if you do. Like, I'll tell you a secret about the ad, but
tell us.
Yeah. So one thing that can really grow a Facebook group is like having like a Facebook ad to ask people to join the group. Right. Now, how it does cost you money. So if you're not making any money with your group, or you don't know how to monetize a group, it might not make sense for you to run ads for someone like yourself. Because I know, like, you get advertising spots like that. Like, maybe running ads for your group wouldn't be a bad thing. However, one way that you can get a post to be shown to more people for less money is you have people comment. So one day I was running an ad for my Facebook group, and then like someone just randomly posted like a photo on it, like of their art, and I was like, WTF? What are we doing? But then I started noticing all these random artists started posting it. Like, they just start posting their own stuff on the comments, right? So then my cost per group member went from like $2 to like 75 cents per group member.
Very nice. Very nice. Well,
so
that's going into the brain.
Yeah.
So what is your Facebook group? Because that's actually how I came across you. I saw an ad.
Yeah.
I said,
yeah, we gotta check this out. Then she contacted me.
Yeah. And that's actually an interesting thing, guys. Don't be afraid to spend money, even if you don't know if you're gonna make it back. Like, I'm on this podcast, and it cost me 75 plus 75, $1.40. Right.
Okay.
So,
still didn't tell
I missed that question though. What was the question?
Your Facebook
page. What is it? So people look.
Yeah, it's Bryce the artist. My name is spelled Bryce, the THE, and then artist, ARTIST.
I gotta ask personally.
Yes.
Why Bryce the artist? Because I'm Calibri the artist. So that was another thing. I'm like, who the hell is Bryce the artist?
And I'm Pratt the artist.
Yeah.
But
because like,
choose that name.
I don't know. On like Instagram, like I was going with like Bryce Tubbs, but there was another Bryce Tubbs, and then I have like an Instagram account for my accounting firm. So I just, wanted to separate that part of my life. So yeah, just my artist side. In the future, I might have a different name for if I create another one. I don't know.
That's the same for mine.
No.
Is that right? Calibri, like the bird, like the lighter, like
yeah.
like the artist.
Yeah.
They got to know. They have to know when they're buying your stuff, man. You're an artist. Ooh, okay. That if you want me to share on that thought, I just thought about.
I heard Let's hear the
So
ooh.
so sometimes people ask me about like how to make money with like a Facebook group, right? So they're trying to sell their art, and the one thing that they're thinking is like the only way I can sell my art online is if I just post my painting or post whatever I have, like a sculpture, whether it's stone, metal, right? The way you actually can get the group members' attention in a group like that, or even like in a highly competitive kind of space, is more telling your story.
Mhm.
Yes,
I noticed you do that a lot.
that's very
Yeah,
important.
yeah. Which a lot of people think that the only thing you're selling is your art. You're really selling yourself. And
Hmm.
once they've been sold on yourself, now they're going to be a buyer for life.
So when you say telling your story, what are some things that artists should share, be comfortable sharing? Because sometimes you'll see people they'll attempt that, but it still can be, I don't want to say false, but not
Mhm.
necessarily true. It just does, you can tell they're not comfortable.
Right.
So what are
Mm.
some tips that you might be giving? What are some tips you might have for an artist to be more comfortable or even know what to share? What parts of their lives should they open up?
Okay. And let me ask you this question. Like when you say comfortable, do you mean like in like they're lying about the story, or it's just they're
No,
being too vulnerable?
no. I'm saying this, for instance, I do marketing for quite a few artists, and it's easy on the outside looking in to see, okay, well, there's something there. We're gonna, and put together those videos. But a lot of times, what I see as artists, they go into polish mode. The camera comes on.
Yeah.
It's, hi, I'm so and so, and I'm cooking.
Yeah.
you know, what are some tips? And then sometimes people don't even think to share those parts of their lives. They think the art, I got to sell the art. I need to stick to the art. I need to
Mhm.
do this, but really it helps if you just talk about the day that you're having. People they just want to look into who you are,
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
so
Right.
they can connect with who you are and identify who you are as it relates to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because it's more they
so
get
Yeah.
to know you on a more personal basis.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. So yeah, what would you have to say about that, or do you agree?
Yeah. So I totally agree. Like you gotta be personal. So it's tough, guys. Like for me, like I spent about 7 grand like
Mhm,
on like a course about how to actually post on social media,
mhm,
right? And because I was just stumped. I was like, what am I supposed to say? Like, what am I supposed to do? Should I be corporate? Should I be like personal? I see all these people posting about their foods, and then some are like in like suit and ties, and they're like Bill Gates, and it was so overwhelming to me, right? So I spent like 7 grand, and the person's like, okay, so this is how you do it, 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 right? And in addition to like what I'm telling you guys here, like inside of my group, like I just give you guys a bunch of stuff. Some people actually don't even know how to use it, even though or they don't use it, even though it cost me like probably 35,000. I have one document in there that cost me 20 grand that people like lose in their Google Drive inbox, which kind of annoys me, but but a good thing to write down your story. Okay, so number one, so go and take out a sheet of paper if you're watching this. You don't have to do it now, but you can do it after the interview. But like literally write down your life from like when you were born to now.
mhm,
What are the most important milestones? What are the negative things that happen to you? What are the positive things that happen to you? Okay, there's a couple different types of story archetypes. There can be the, starting from the bottom, then you're here. There
huh,
can be the you start in paradise, you have a fall from grace, and then what is the journey back to paradise?
mhm,
Sometimes there is a paradise and then paradise fall, like you struggle again, but instead of going back, now you're stuck inside the underworld and you're just telling them about this is where I am right now. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of like cool different like styles of stories, and you guys can start really learning about this if you start really like reading books, which I know people don't like hearing that.
Interesting.
um, but that's one of my passions too. I do about 2.5 hours every single evening on reading like marketing books, sales books, negotiation types books,
mhm,
and you really have to do that. So put your life on a timeline.
mhm,
What are the different things? Like maybe you came from like a really rich family,
mhm,
and then maybe you were disowned because you started like utilizing that money inappropriately, like the prodigal son.
mhm.
But then you had this moment inside the pig pen, and then now you're back in good graces,
Mhm.
right? You
I
could
like
be like,
Yeah.
I think that's valuable information. I think that's very valuable. It gives people a chance to identify what's special about themselves and what the stories that they want to tell.
Yeah.
But also, I think it gives the viewer a better understanding of the artwork that comes from
Yeah.
a person.
Yes. Because they're taking a piece of you home when they're taking that artwork home. They're taking you, like they're looking at that piece of work and go, I met this artist and this is his story. They look at that and it makes them happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you offer workshops. You actually offer classes, and people can pay you basically for this.
Yeah.
What? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, artists started reaching out to me on like social media because I've been posting in a lot of groups, just kind of bragging about my success. And it wasn't kind of like to brag. It was more of like, when you came a long way, sometimes like, hey, I just sold, $8,900 today at this art show, or hey, I had a $11,000 weekend, or hey, this person texted me and spent $4,000, right? And I was just kind of braggy. I don't know, and then people would be like, wait, how do you do that? And then people like with these just like magnificent looking sculptures, like they were like this guy was making like Greek gods, right? And he couldn't even sell it. Like he just couldn't sell it. So he's like, hey, how do you do that? And I was like, I'm not gonna tell you. Because I was like, you're gonna steal my client base, you're gonna copy my work, and I'm not gonna ever make any money again, right? But then kept messaging me, hey, what's up? Why are you not showing me? Like, why are you being so mean? What's up? I'm trying to quit my job, and I'm like, dude, quit texting me. And he goes, hey, I'll pay you. I was like, oh, what?
Oh, you're speaking now my language.
I was like, oh, you'll pay me. And I didn't really know how to charge for that program because I was like, for some of these artists, like they might be starting off with like really small paintings, right? So the way that we kind of price it is based on what is your new style. So I always like to encourage people to go between about 3,000 to about 5,000. Right now it's creeping up more to like 7. So I like to be able to charge for my coaching programs the price of one of your higher ticket pieces, because it also gives you that incentive to raise your price so you can not only like pay for the program, but you're also in that new zone. So it's that kind of gave away the price for some of you guys who are wondering the price. It's a 6 months program where we basically take you through like how to price your stuff, next how to actually do the marketing so you can go and get a really, really strong pipeline of leads and potential clients who actually want to buy your art and who love you and who will buy multiple pieces. Then we go through sales, really your sales beliefs, your sales mindsets, also how to really think about money and how people interpret your art and how to disassociate yourself from the rejection. And then the fourth aspect of that program is about how to manage your life as an artist, right? Because sometimes what happens is people will come to me and they're like, Bryce, I've been making art, but I have a lot of stuff. I just don't really have as much time as what I used to because my job is just kind of taking up more time. And like they laid off some people. The one situation we're kind of in, I don't want to say the word because it might demonetize this video, but the situation that we were kind of in, a lot of people are in different kind of working situations. So some of them are actually like off of work or they're working remotely and they didn't really know how to manage the extra time they had. So we started adding that component in there because what we were seeing was like people would be like having 5 extra hours a day to do their work and get even less done than what they were before.
Yep. I can relate.
It's this little stuff, right? Like I think you were telling me, you're like, it's not necessarily that it's like secret society level material. It's just we do the basics so well that you can't not make money.
Okay, I like that.
That's a lot to think about.
That.
It is.
I love that it's 6 months. Like it's an in-depth program, and I love that you included managing your life as an artist because I feel like
really
that's probably
important.
the biggest component.
Yeah.
As it relates to art, you have all of these other components as far as pricing, and these are things that truthfully, people can go on YouTube and get these different elements. They're probably not going to be the same,
right?
But nobody talks about truly how to balance your life and manage it as an artist.
They don't.
And people outside of the art world You can go to Business 101. They're not going to tell you how to manage your life
No,
as
they're
an
not.
artist.
No,
They don't
no,
understand that.
No.
It's just a whole completely, your creative mind goes.
Right.
Constantly. So it's hard to put that puzzle together.
Right.
Where can everyone sign up?
Yeah.
And if you're watching from Twitch, we actually have the link in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll put the link.
A couple different ways. So number one is you guys can go and look at the link inside the chat. There's a free training that I created. It basically just shows how to go and do $100,000 per year in art. It has like some student testimonials, some stories, kind of my story in a little bit more detail, and kind of actually shows the progression of the art and basically what it took for me to actually do this, right? Because it wasn't necessarily overnight. Mm-hmm. It might seem like it's overnight because we had to condense the story for the thing. The next place you can go to is my Facebook group titled How to Sell More Art, or you can just look me up on Facebook as Bryce Tubbs, the artist.
All right.
Okay.
The two.
Awesome.
How to Sell More Art on Facebook.
That's right.
Bryce Tubbs, the artist.
The artist. Yes.
Awesome.
You got my brain going.
And your program, as far as the pricing goes, it's custom for the artist and their style of work, right?
No. So we're generally trying to get you in that price point. So it's the payment plan. If you need like a payment plan, is need based. So that's the part that we customize.
That's nice.
For example, like there was a gentleman who joined the program. He was making $250K a year in corporate America. That guy doesn't get a payment plan.
What? Songs are hard, man. $1,000.
I got my Rolex watch on, and my diamond studs, and my portion outside.
Yeah. Because sometimes I get that that objection. It's like, well, Bryce, you have all this money. Like, why do you need mine, right? And it's like, well, I gave you a $20,000 document for free, and you didn't use it. So maybe if I charge you, like, take it seriously.
We had a discussion about that today. Somebody said that remember when we were speaking,
right?
But she was saying that she got away from doing free work because people don't value free things,
right?
So sometimes you do have to just put a little price on it.
Yes, you do. You do, because they don't value it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, these are gems. These really are gems.
Yeah.
They're gems.
They are. You know.
And I love that you have the payment program. I'm actually laughing as you said that. Like, why do you need mine? Because they're looking at your Rolex and your tennis courts. Like,
hey man, you guys keep talking about six figures. Like when I talk about I joined masterminds, like these guys are making $2.5 million a month in their business, right? I'm small compared to these guys, right? Mm-hmm. But and also to your point, you said about like they can go and get this marketing stuff on YouTube, but like you run marketing for artists, right? Mm-hmm. It's not about the information. Like they need you, right?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's not that it's not available. It's not customized to what they're doing.
That's right.
And it's not really something that's tailored to artists. There aren't very many business tips that are tailored to artists. And I think that's what's so unique about you is that you're coming from a business background and then as an artist shifting it and able to find the inner workings,
right?
You know, and then and merge the two together, which we don't really see. No. I'm only able to do marketing and art because I came from a marketing. But another person who knows marketing, it's, you know, they still may not know. They don't know what it's like to be an artist. They don't know what it's like to be in that world, and they don't know what the challenges artists face. It's not as simple as, all right, I'm going to go on YouTube and look up a marketing video, or I'm going to go into. It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't
you know, it just doesn't. It doesn't, especially when it comes to managing your life as an artist. I think that's the biggest hurdle.
I think is the hardest hurdle right there.
Probably the biggest benefit that they get from your course.
Right.
And it's 6 full months. You're not logging in and watching something for an hour. All right. I'm going to
bye. See you later. Yeah.
That lets me know that you're really developing that artist. It's not even a workshop. It's a full course.
It's like it's like a coaching thing. That's what it reminds me of. Somebody who's coaching me.
Would you say that?
Huh?
Would you say that coaching? Yeah.
Would you feel like you're coaching? I think so.
Yeah, it's like I used to call it mentorship, but then like people would think that mentorship is free. So I kind of rebranded as more of like either paid mentorship or coaching, because
Right.
for you don't want to, a confused mind doesn't buy, right?
Okay.
So
I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah. All right.
So what do you have coming up?
Yes.
really what I'm doing is I'm trying to do a 90-day YouTube push. So basically what that means is I'm making YouTube videos for 90 days, just straight, just every day I want to release about 1 to 2. And the reason for that is because I'm probably going to try and take over the market on YouTube for artists. Because as you guys kind of alluded to earlier, like I didn't really believe in posting on social media more than about 2 years ago. Everything with me was like meet people and then send them through my email sequences or text message. So that's why I told you guys earlier, I spent the $7,000 on like how to post, right? And now that I know like, oh, so this is why you post, this is what you do here, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm just going really, really hard on the content. Because like you're saying, there's a hole in the market. Like there's not very much content about business. Or if there is, they're selling like a $10 like ebook that doesn't really, it's not enough information to help you guys make some money.
Right. That's right. That's right.
And I love your videos. They're all it's usually inspirational or
They
positive. But he's like, you see like deer in the background running. where is this guy on his golf course? He's like, hey everybody, like it's comfortable to watch. It's relatable to watch. And then also you have somewhere you're polished, like, hello, I'm Bryce. It's
yeah.
You get to see the full scale of who you are.
Yeah.
The full scope. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I do too. So
well, Mr. Tubbs, we thank you for coming on. We usually like to wrap up on a positive note. So is there anything that you would, any information or any advice you'd like to give with our viewers and us too, because we're learning.
We're learning. I'm always learning.
Yes.
Yeah. The biggest thing I see with like artists is, as we touched on with stories, like you have to change your story. Like a lot of people tell me, they get on the phone, like, in the past, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this. I'm not this. I can't do this. It's like all this negative stuff. Like the easiest way for you to go and sell more art is to first change your story. Look for why, there are good things happening to you. Where are you going? Who are you becoming? What are your plans? If you change that, you will be able to get out of any situation that you're in, right? Broke is a place. Poverty is a mindset that keeps you broke a lot longer than you have to be.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That was perfect.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to hit you with a bonus question.
All right.
Why art?
Yes. Why art?
Like, it's so easy to sell art compared to like what I used to sell.
See his mindset, like, what? Are you kidding?
Dude, I used to have to like argue with people like, hey, objection handle, this is why you should do it, this is why it's better. You go to an art show, these guys whip out $5,000 in cash and they just hand it to you.
Well, that's what's up. Hey, the money.
We got about 1 minute.
Okay.
So
thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Positive note.
Everybody, he did.
Oh, we did. Okay, good.
So everybody, Bryce the artist, Bryce Tubbs, everybody, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Follow him, follow his Facebook page, sell more art on Facebook.
Yes.
Bryce Tubbs or Bryce the artist on Facebook.
And the other page is...
Well, I'll let you tell. Any other emails or any other handles or ways to contact you?
No, you guys can just check me out on Facebook. It's going to be me next to a picture of like a sculpture. And then,
All right, everybody.
I'm always a message away.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh
Bryce
my
the
God.
artist. It was a pleasure having you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sell art.
Yes. And thank you all for tuning in this Wednesday on Get Down and Dirty Talking Art. Make sure that you check us out next Wednesday. We'll have the Men of Emoja on, kicking off Black History Month. I'm actually very excited for Black History Month. We're going to have them on talking about different things that they've gone through as artists and the direction they're going through as a Black gallery that sells African American artwork, the leading original and selling original. So tune in next week, and thank you for watching.
Get down and dirty talking art.
Yes.
Good night, all.
Good
Stay
night.
warm.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.